Tackle from behind, loses the ball, it's rolling around. Can Kozad fall on? They finally force a turnover.
He's at the 50, he breaks it back, comes back across the grain. He's gonna go. Hail Caesar.
Pummels of football. Coming up with it is Gothenburg, and that's going to be a return for a touchdown. Makes the catch at the 35, breaks a tackle, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Loomis. Welcome back to the Press Box Preview. It is week 4 of high school football season here on KRVN. John Willis, Scott Foster with you. Hard to believe that we're pretty much already a third of the way into the season. This high school football year is flying by. This past week, though, we had some great games, some really close games, but then also some top teams in each class kind of showing out.
Yeah, you know, as we get closer to district play, games become more important, and we really start to be able to sort out the haves and the have-nots a little bit. But I tell you, one game that had it all, Anselmo Myrna beating Loomis 48-46 in a thriller. Cambridge looks really good as they got a big win. Kozad got a win over Ogallala, first win of the Jared Crick era. Overton wins a big rivalry match against Elm Creek. Just lots of fun.
Kearney Catholic also a pretty big game with Hastings St. Cecilia, won that one close 14-7. And then a lot of discussions about this game across social media just because of Millard South blasting top 10 Kearney 72-0 and how people feel about how Class A maybe is formatted a little bit. But that we could go into a whole discussion about that. That would take up too much of your time. Got a pair of games coming across our airwaves on this Friday. Plattsmouth at Lexington. That'll be on Cami Country at 7 p.m. Now, after winning their first game, Lexington has dropped the last two, losing to Northwest 48-14. But that was a game they were right in at the half.
They were, and it was 27 points in the second half there for Northwest to kind of spread it out a little bit. But I tell you, Grayson McFarland has had a nice year. He's done a good job, 262 yards rushing and 66 carries. Brian Truex is coming onto his own as a quarterback. I really think that this Lexington team has some things going for it. They got a shot to pick up maybe a couple wins here before the season's out.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch them and how they've been able to maybe improve, especially on offense this year. Now, Plattsmouth is 2-1 after dropping their first game of the year to Omaha Skutt last week. Couple big wins over Buena Vista and Elkhorn to start the year. Now, defense has played lights out so far this season.
Well, they really have, and only giving up 23 points to Skutt is sort of a moral victory. Levi Walker has played well for them. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns. Brandon Van Winkle has done some good things at quarterback for them, too. So, you know, I mean, they've played well. I think this might be a close game, though.
Yeah, done a really good job rushing the ball as a whole this season. Walker averaging 142 rushing yards per game. Plattsmouth beat Lexington 48-7 a season ago, so I know this is one the Minutemen will want to have this season. Now, Chadron at Gothenburg. Battle of Unbeatens on 880 KRVN. That is a 7 o'clock first kick. Gothenburg is 3-0 for the first time since 2019 after beating Adams Central 15-9 in their first win over the Patriots under Coach Craig Hakey. It was a weird game filled with penalties, but credit to the Swedes for finding a way to win. And when talking with Coach Hakey, more of a mental hurdle more than anything.
Well, it really was. You need to get over that to win a game. And it was a weird game. There was 3 touchdowns called back, as you mentioned, weird. There were 2 defensive pass interferences in the end zone in that game. It was just a strange one. But Gothenburg, with 23 seconds left, able to get it done. Evan Johnson, holy cow. I talked to him the day after. He said, man, I am sore. Yeah. You know, 31 carries in that game, and none of them were easy. He's a workhorse. He's their bell cow, and they'll need him here on this one.
Now, on the other side, the Chadron Cardinals are also 3-0. They've won a couple of close games. This is definitely a formidable opponent that Gothenburg faces coming from far northwest Nebraska.
Yeah, you know, they're coming in here with a whole lot of momentum. The thing we always wonder when about a Western school is who they've played. Mm-hmm. And so as you move a little bit east, sometimes it gets a little bit tougher. They beat Mitchell 32-26, but we're up pretty big a couple times in that game. A nice quarterback in Tobin Landon, good rushing attack with Lane Davidson and Jace Hoffman, who came up with over 300 yards in that win last week. So it's going to be a running game. It's going to be just a good old smash mouth football game in Gothenburg, I think, on Friday.
And when talking with Coach Sandstrom, said for the most part, the defense has played really, really well. So could see kind of that defensive kind of battle as we've seen many times out in Gothenburg. All-time series is tied at 5. Chadron has won the last 2, including a 22-6 win a season ago. So should be an exciting one in Gothenburg. Taking a look at some of our other area games over on our sister stations, Holdridge is at Adams Central. That'll be on KUVR. And Soma Myrna is at Central Valley. That game is on K-Bear. Scott, what other games do you have kind of circled this week?
I am curious about the Southern Valley Arapahoe game. That's sort of a something's got to give game. Those two teams have struggled a little bit, so somebody's going to come out on top in this one. And I'm interested in Holdridge and Adams Central. That's over on KUVR because I think Adams Central is better than their record, which is 0-3. I really think that they put some things together against Gothenburg. They ran the ball pretty well, and they kind of changed their ideas. We'll see how they do against Holdridge.
Couple games I've got my eye on. Kearney Catholic at Minden. Minden they've looked good at times this year, have just played some really good teams, and so be interested to see how they come out against Kearney Catholic, especially with that game being in Minden. And then Bertrand and Cambridge, two teams that have kind of ran through some teams these last couple weeks, both 3-0. I think we're going to learn a lot about both of those teams this week and kind of what they're wanting this season to continue to be. I think that'll be a great game. And again, that's a Thursday kickoff, so that is today. Well, that'll do it for this Week 4 edition of the Press Box Preview. Again, on our stations at 7 p.m. on Friday. It is Plattsmouth at Lexington. Tyler Cavalli and Jacob Roth will have the call. And then at 7 p.m. on 880 KRVN, it's undefeated Chadron and undefeated Gothenburg. Myself, Scott, will have the call of that one on the blowtorch of the Flames. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you next week.